This is 91.3 FM, WCUW in Worcester, Massachusetts, the Dr. Chris Radio of Horror program. Tonight on Radio of Horror, from the Boston area Film Critic Society of People. There's a bunch of Boston film critics, but it's always nice when we have a horror one on the show. We have Dede Crimmins on the show with us.
Yep, hi.
Hi, who also works for Rue Morgue magazine, as well as Film Thrills, and a couple others that you mentioned.
Yeah, I work for, I write for Cinematic Essential as well. I also write for Bitch Flicks, which is an online...
Say it again?
Bitch Flicks?
Bitch Flicks.
Yes, they do feminist film criticism, and they are good to work with because they're very focused. I write for the Brattle Theater, their program that comes out. They have a blog that they do, so I'm around. I'm freelancing around where I can.
Do you find it easy to be a freelance reviewer?
I have a day job, so I have a little bit more freedom.
Oh, okay. So I thought that was your day job, being an international, globe-trotting all over New England horror female film critic.
Globe-trotting through New England, yes. No, I do.
All 7 states.
It's my passion and my focus, but it doesn't necessarily pay the bills, which keeps a little bit of the pressure off from taking jobs that I don't need. Yeah. But no, it is interesting to be able to freelance around. I am a staff writer for All Things Horror, so I do staff for them, and then in addition to that, freelance around to other places. It's fun though. It's there's a lot of flexibility there. If I decide that I want to write something, I can kind of shop it around and see who wants to talk about it.
What's your full-time job?
I do marketing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I do work in marketing and sales for HP. It's only part-time though.
Yeah.
Film Thrills is the only one that I'm not familiar with.
Oh, Film Thrills. So Film Thrills used to be called All Things Horror. And just 2 weeks ago, we rebranded entirely.
Oh,
yeah.
Very clever.
Yeah. So All Things Horror, most people knew and had a lot of name recognition, but it also, based on just the title alone, was fairly limited to the point where if I reviewed Mad Max, Fury Road, someone would comment on my post, be like, "This isn't horror." And I was like, "Well, it's our site. We can write about everything that we want to." But I can understand that not quite working with branding. So just very, very recently, we've switched it over to be called Film Thrills. So it's an old site, but with a new name.
You guys don't just do horror movies, though.
No.
Because I see Spider-Man's on here.
Yeah. We're
from the Civil War shot.
Yeah, we're both jumping at the chance to be able to branch out for that. And we've always had a little bit of general genre things. So I did review Mad Max. I will review things that aren't strict horror, but are somehow genre related. But now with the new branding, we feel like we can do a little bit more of everything.
Did you notice that even websites like Dread Central review superhero movies too? It's even websites like Dread Central review superhero movies too, even though they're not, obviously, there hasn't been a superhero horror movie at all. However, because movies have been directed by Sam Raimi and James Gunn.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, there's a commonality between the audiences, so who cares if you're going to get into semantics of oh, this isn't horror, it is, So that's one of the reasons of moving towards Film Thrills, is just being able to write about what we want to write about.
And you're also a panelist at several conventions. I haven't
spoken at BosCon, but I've spoken at a couple different World Cons.
That's an odd weekend, too.
It's an odd weekend, and also because you always forget cons plan things 6 months in advance, so if you aren't already on their list of participants, yeah, there is. But World Cons, I've spoken on panels at Reno when I was in Reno, and not Montreal, Chicago, things like that. So if I do attend a World Con, I will be at panels then.
Ghirardelli Science Fiction Film Festival.
Yep.
There's a gaming con that's happening in Rhode Island that weekend.
Oh, I don't know about
There's
that.
The Fat Flea that happens in Rhode Island.
I was almost on a PAX panel once, which I was super excited about, but then it ended up being falling through last minute. But
what panel?
It was going to be a panel on adaptations of video games into film. So, I can talk about the film stuff. I don't do video games, but I was I like Silent Hill, the movie. I can talk about that.
Yeah. That would have been a panel of nothing but hate thrown around, because most of those are terrible.
Yeah, but it was the PAX that this was several years ago, and it was the PAX at that. It was the year after I'd spoken at a Worldcon about adaptation. So I had a friend who is very involved in the gaming community, and he knew that I had already spoken at a Worldcon about this exact same thing. So he's like, oh, you can talk about this at PAX.
Worldcon's pretty big.
Worldcon is pretty big. Worldcon's fun.
And you're going to be going to the thing this coming next weekend.
Yeah.
In the middle of the week.
Middle of the week, it's
21st, 22nd, 23rd. So 23rd is a Wednesday. Yeah. The Boston Underground Film Festival, the 18th year.
Buff 18 hashtag.
Buff, that's what. Yeah.
Yeah, the Boston.
You kept saying Buff. I was like, Buff.
Boston
Buffy
Underground
the
Film
Vampire
Festival.
Slayer.
No, it's general. It's not specifically horror, but there is a lot of horror in it. It's just general. They refer to as weird cinema. It's just international film stuff you've never going to see again. They do a lot of really amazing shorts panels. They actually have one specific block of scheduling that's only local horror.
Jesus Christ. I really wish I could have gotten my film, The Radio Station, into that on time, but it just got completed earlier this week, so I mean like a couple weeks ago, so it would not have made the deadline.
Yeah. Shucks.
So I have to wait till next year.
Yeah, but no, there is a panel, not a panel, I keep saying panel. There's a block of shorts just that are local horror films.
Yeah, that would have been the radio station.
It's always really great. It's programmed by Chris Halleck, and he does amazing stuff.
Yeah, he runs a couple things over at the Somerville Theater. Like he ran that women's sci-fi film festival that I met you
Etheria,
at in 2012.
Yeah, and I've taken over hosting Etheria from him. Like it used to be him and Mike Snoonian, who's my co-writer at Film Thrills, and then
that makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah. The Etheria Film Festival in particular, it's a traveling film festival. So essentially, these women, Heidi Honeycutt, Stacey Pippen Hammond, in LA program it. They do an amazing job, and then Stacey travels around with it. So she's in Toronto, she's in Chicago, she's bringing it everywhere. And we used to be the hosts of it, so we didn't program it, but they would come and we would, get the theater, make sure ticket sales happen. We did a lot of the promo for it.
There was one movie in particular that still stands out in my mind, and maybe because she came on my show, but she's also from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. She played the witch Tara. Amber Benson was in one of those shorts.
Yeah. Amber Benson.
It was about like pregnancy.
Oh, I think I remember that
like
one.
It was your time to get pregnant. Like it was okay because like they were doing a population control thing.
Yeah, and she was in a film that Etheria showed independent of the festival called The Dust Up, and it was an action film.
And it was like a big. I remember she mentioned something like, "Oh, they won't show this in China for obvious reasons because it seems like they were making fun of their population control things."
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was that like sci-fi one where she got like an implant or something.
Yeah.
Now
and I was thinking about that, going, "Oh my god, I can imagine it's actually happening in another couple hundred years."
Yeah.
They now it's okay to get pregnant. You can be pregnant. Thanks.
Yeah.
I can see us like bowing down and allowing this to happen because it's like,
especially the Republicans.
Can't get political.
But no, Amber Benson is really involved in women and film, and she's great.
Did you see the meme of Zool talking to the Ghostbusters as choose the form of your destructor, and it shows the 4 presidential candidates: Ted Cruz, Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, and Bernie Sanders. Did you ever see that Iraq zombie movie where like they were coming back from the Iraq War? There were zombies.
Oh, back from the Iraq War, zombies,
or some war.
I'm trying to think. I've seen the Revenant.
I think it was a Masters of Horror episode.
Oh, I don't know if I've caught up with all those. I've seen where there
was 2 seasons, only 13 episodes.
Oh, there was a film called The Revenant before the most recent Revenant, where it was about actual revenants. So not quite zombies, not quite vampires come back.
No.
It was actually really funny. It played festivals for 3 years, and I don't think it ever really got very solid distribution. But in that, essentially, kind of like these revenant, like zombie-ish, vampire-ish characters are essentially weaponized and sent back to Iraq to fight for us. So I've seen it going the other way.
Have you ever thought about writing something yourself?
Not really. I did some production in undergrad and just decided it wasn't quite for me. I don't know. I appreciate film. I love it. It's my livelihood, but it's not something I feel the need to create anytime soon.
Have you seen this?
Vampire?
I Kissed a Vampire, the Rock musical.
No, I have not, but I like musicals.
Yeah, this supposedly my roommate suggested this to me. I'm holding up a copy of I Kissed a Vampire, the Rock musical, the movie. And it was based on an iTunes web series, and then they made it into a movie.
Okay, that sounds cool.
And supposedly it's like really great. I mean, it's definitely targeted at like teens, 20-something, early 20-somethings.
Yeah.
But it's not terrible. It's actually like if you hate High School Musical, you'll actually like this.
Oh, okay. Is the music at least like catchy or?
Supposedly, I haven't watched it. I
Okay.
brought it tonight to watch after you left. So I was just like, have you seen this? No.
Oh, cool.
I don't know who's in this. Lucas Grabel, Drew Seeley, and Adrian Slade. I don't know who these people are.
Kind of sounds like you're making up those names.
Again, this is probably... When did this come out? 2012, so... Yeah, they're probably all Disney Channel people I give crap about. The only Disney Channel person I even know is Selena Gomez because she's in Hotel Transylvania.
Oh, yeah.
Or that girl who's now been cast as the one of only 2 female actresses who've been cast in the new Spider-Man movie coming out. She's got like
she was a Disney girl?
Zanan Zaydana or something. She's an unknown character in the Spider-Man universe. Supposedly she's going to be the Black Cat.
Okay.
So, and then of course they have Marissa Tomei as cast as Spider-Man and Aunt May, and I'm just like, yes.
Is she really Aunt May's age? Like, come on, like.
She's 49. No, they're obviously. Well, don't forget, Spider-Man. This is like going to be like the Tom Holland, director of Fright Night, but the other Tom Holland is actually like 14 or 15 in real life.
Okay.
So they're casting an Aunt May that's like makes more sense.
Okay.
And I'm like, are we trying to make Aunt May a sex symbol? Because watching The Wrestler, I'm only thinking Marissa Tomei in one way.
Yeah, she played Steve Carell's wife in The Big Short, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't think she's there yet, age-wise. Like, I think, I don't know, she's
But
still
she's
hot.
not. She's not supposed to be like the 70s. She's not supposed to be like Rosemary.
Okay.
Rosemary, whatever her name was. Rosemary, the original Spider-Man,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
Sally Field
Not
either.
Sally Field.
Who Sally Field just shit on the Spider-Man movies that
Oh,
she
yeah,
was
she
in the other
totally
day.
did, yeah.
She was just like, you can't make money from total pieces of shit or something like that. She was like, really like, I did not want to do those.
Like, Sally Mae is not hurting. Sally Field is not hurting for work. She's fine. Like,
No.
she can say whatever the hell
But
she
I
wants.
don't think, I don't know, something about her was not like,
Yeah. It's like
Aunt
picking
May
someone while
enough.
they're down.
Unlike Rosemary Clooney. This wasn't
No.
Clooney.
No, you're back on musicals with Rosemary
The
Clooney.
original Spider-Man Aunt May, the 3 trilogy, the Sam Raimi trilogy.
Okay. I
Yeah.
don't know the actress's name.
No, cannot. But there was a great review about Spider-Man 3 recently, because the guy's like building up, like doing a Spider-Man movie a week to lead up to the release of the Civil War movie. And he did Spider-Man 3, and he was talking about how like the biggest like mess with all the characters. And it's like, if this movie had just been Harry Osborn and nobody else. Yeah. It's like the Batman and Robin movie. It's like the Daredevil movie. Which is like, okay, so look, Daredevil, the TV series, is so successful. What did you do wrong, Batfleck?
I did like how the Deadpool made fun of the Green Lantern.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his original Deadpool shows up in it.
Yeah.
Like the little action figure,
Yeah.
which looks really stupid.
Yeah.
And what's funny is that that actress from Firefly,
Yeah,
yeah,
I forget
Monica
her name. She was-
Baccarina,
Yeah.
she's on Gotham.
Oh, okay.
She plays Jim Gordon's. In real life, her and the actor who plays Jim Gordon just had a baby.
Oh, yeah.
And on the show, their characters are dating. Leslie Thompson is Bruce Wayne's psychologist,
Okay.
which is like, I would have fired her, considering he still grows up to becomes a psychotic superhero, obsessed with the night. What is coming out that you have really enjoyed? You were talking about the Green Room.
Green Room is amazing. So that's Jeremy Saulnier's follow-up to Blue Ruin, which was one of the best films of the last 5 years.
So it's a sequel?
No, it's just a follow-up. It's
Oh.
kind of like an emotional partner in my mind. It's not the same characters, but it's shot just as beautifully, and it's just about...
Oh, so it's like 10 Cloverfield Lanes, like
Not even the
this
same
shred,
world.
this tiny little thing
No,
is
it's
connected.
not even the same
Oh.
world. It's just like his next film, but his first film was a comedy, so this doesn't quite fit in with that. His films are beautiful and masterpieces, and to hear him talk about them, he's just like, yeah, I made a fun movie, and it's like, no, you didn't, dude. Your film is amazing, and it breaks my heart, and it's not as fun as you think it is. So that film is amazing. That's coming out. What else is coming up? Richard Bates' Trash Fire, which I haven't seen yet, but I adored his first 2 films.
Trash
Did you
Fire?
see Excision?
No.
Oh, this is a really amazing, slow, haunting.
I've gotten to that
indie
point in my
horror
life.
film.
It's like I'm picky about movies.
Yeah, I'm like, it's like with
I used
me
to
and
watch
TV, I
everything,
can't
but
keep up
now
with
it's
it.
like, really, am I wasting my freaking time with this thing?
Anyway, so he's a genre director. His first film is a straight horror film, and it's like the stuff that happens in it is just totally awful.
I say that though, but we just got done watching Fright Night Part 2. I'm
Yeah.
about to watch this, and I still haven't seen The Revenant
Oh
or
yeah, no, you can skip The Revenant.
The Room or
No, you can skip The Room.
just Inglorious Bastards.
You can skip that.
Whatever the new Tarantino movie was.
Oh, Hateful Eight is
Yes.
amazing. Don't skip that.
Okay, someone
it's
said
so
that's
good.
more like a horror movie than anyone could possibly imagine. I was like, really?
It's so good. It's so good. But anyway, so Richard Bates Jr.'s film, Excision, amazing classic horror film. His next film, Suburban Gothic, really quirky, funny. It's like a possession film if it were like filmed by Wes Anderson.
You know what the big problem is? Just too much good TV.
See, you and I are exact opposites in this because I just ignore TV. Like, I don't want to watch TV. I don't want to get sucked into anything. But movies, it's 90 minutes and you're good. Well, hopefully it's not that much more than 90 minutes.
But Daredevil launched, and you're
No,
like
but,
binge
like-
watching 10 episodes yesterday.
But in the amount of time that you binge watch 10 episodes of Daredevil, how many new films can I get through? Like, no, I can't keep up with TV.
So I found Trash Fire on IMDb. When Owen is forced to confront his past he's been running from his whole adult life, he and his girlfriend Isabel become entangled in a horrifying web of lies, deceit, and murder.
But it's like a dark comedy.
It looks like it from the trailer. It's got
It's
some
like a really
person holding
quirky,
a doll.
funny, dark comedy. And that director is just very adaptable to different tones, so I'm really looking forward to seeing that. I haven't seen it yet, though. I'm trying to think what else. I go to a lot of festivals over the summer and then the fall, so by the time the spring comes around, most of the films that I've been talking about for like 6 months have already come out, and so starting with Buff this week and then going on to IFFB, which is the Independent Film Festival at Boston in April. then I'll start filling back up on things that haven't come out yet. I also go to Fantasia up in Montreal every year. I go to Fantastic Fest, which is in Texas, and it's the Alamo
What is
Draft
Fantasia?
House. Fantasia is a film festival. Fantasia, it's amazing. It's 3 weeks long in Montreal every year, and just the most amazing films. That you
3
won't
weeks
see.
of films?
Yeah, it's amazing.
That's insane.
It is insane.
How long is Sundance?
Sundance is what, a week and a half?
Damn. And I know people do that entire thing. It's like, how do you do that?
Yeah. I think Fantasia might be the biggest genre film fest in the world. I would not be surprised if that's
Maybe I
the
should get my
case.
film into that. No.
It's amazing.
There's probably some that would be a complete waste of money, because if you don't get your movie into the film festival, you don't get your money back.
No, you don't. Yeah. But no, so Fantasia's great. Fantastic Fest is great. So I'll be
like
seeing
trying to
good
win the
stuff
lottery.
there. Yeah.
But with a low return. Hoping for a nice shiny trophy that looks like, I don't know,
You
the
can put
microphone
laurels.
or the camera, bronzed in gold.
You can put laurels on your website if you win or get in.
Yeah, they will usually send you out the official selection thing with your film's title on it.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's that. I want money. No, I'm kidding. Have you seen this movie High Rise?
Oh, it's so good. I have. It's amazing. It is. It's based on a J.G. Ballard novel, which is kind of messed up to begin with, but then it's directed by, I'm totally blanking on the director's name right now. He's one of my favorite directors, too. He did Black. He's done, I'm like, do you have it pulled up right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the director's name?
Ben Wheatley.
Ben Wheatley. Oh, so Ben Wheatley, if you haven't been following his career.
Stars Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah, it stars Tom. So Ben Wheatley did Kill List, which was brutal. It's an amazing original horror film. So he did that. Then he went on to he did Sightseers, which is a really quirky.
Oh, he did
dark comedy.
You in the original ABCs of Death.
Yeah. So Ben Wheatley is one of the best filmmakers, period, right now, and he's to the point where his most recent film, Not High Rise, isn't even doing the festival circuit. It just got bought outright. For an indie director, that's huge. So his film after High Rise is going to be, I think A24 got it before anyone else did. But High Rise is just, it's really messed up. It is like the worst version of our society possible, and you just watch it and you can't do anything about it. It's just unfolding in front of you. And this like single apartment building.
And of all the genre films that have come out this year, would you say that probably 10 Cloverfield Lane and Deadpool are the only two good ones?
The Witch? Dude. The Witch is amazing.
Kinda. I mean, I'm kind of on both sides of it. I've been reading way too many, like, why The Witch sucks, and then, I'm, like, keeping my own opinion, like, that movie had its suspense. I will admit that it was a little bit long on the tooth and could have been shorter in certain regards.
Oh, no,
like,
it's, like,
there's too much of, like,
atmospheric for
this
me.
happening.
No, I thought... I thought it was beautiful. It was atmospheric. I think films need to be contemplative like that.
A little bit too drawn out at times, and I think it could have been chopped up a little bit more.
I thought it was perfect. The Boy. Did you see The Boy?
Yeah,
so
that made no sense. I don't mind. You can talk about The Boy. I don't give a shit because I've ruined The Boy.
Yeah.
So if you talk about the spoilers, it's fine.
So okay, so talk about the spoilers. So the way
we're talking about the spoilers for The Boy. I don't give a shit because the
movie
movie is.
So I love The Boy. I just loved. So did you see Housebound last year? The New Zealand horror comedy.
Yeah, that was okay.
They both had the same conceit, is where you think some things that it's a fantastic, like it's a ghost, it's a whatever. It's not. It's actually something like
Squatter
in the walls.
in
It's
the
a squatter
walls.
in the walls. But The Boy, when you think she's lost her mind, and it turns out she hasn't, and she can prove it, and she shows it to someone else, and they're both like, okay, we need to deal with this. It just pivots from being like a film about like a woman's hysteria to like, oh my god, there might actually be something happening here. And the fact that something wasn't happening, but something kind of was happening, like, it's not otherworldly. There's a freaking crazy guy living in your walls, and his parents have gone and killed themselves, so you have to take care of this now. Like, it was awesome. Like, I did not see that coming. And for how many films that I watched, for something to actually surprise me is amazing.
I want to rewatch that movie because honestly, everything I remember from that movie leading up to the oh my god, he's living in the walls, didn't make any sense. I was like, that doesn't. Your lead up to this absolutely makes no sense whatsoever.
If you just follow, like, maybe because I was really empathetic towards her character.
Like, I did not suspect it was somebody living in the walls, but when it finally revealed, I was like, wait, what happened in this movie? And I started like doing like that movie scene where you were like flashing back in your mind to different scenes. You're like, that doesn't make any sense. This had like the worst lead up to that reveal whatsoever.
It works though. If you watch it again more carefully, it works. Like everything that happens to her is there. And
everyone in that movie, every actor in that movie is British, but they like force Maggie Grace to not be British.
Yeah,
why should she just been a British nanny from some other part of the islands?
I don't know. She was running away from whatever was happening back home, and that kind of gave her character a little bit more like it would be understandable if she was insane, sort of thing. Or she'd like lost it a little bit.
No, it's just a nitpick that
Yeah.
it's like movies like this have an entire British cast or whatever, and like one person's gonna play the American. It's like, well, why don't you just make them all British?
Yeah,
This makes no sense.
Yeah, like you have an American, people are more likely to buy a theater ticket to it.
This is like the original Tomb Raider. Everyone in that movie is mostly American,
Mm-hmm.
Angelina Jolie, except for Daniel Craig is the American in the movie
That doesn't
against
make
all
any
these
sense.
Americans playing British people.
That doesn't make any sense.
And he sounds awful. He literally sounds awful trying to not like force away his English accent or whatever he's from. Yeah, that's just a nitpick. But no, it's the boy that just annoyed me. It's like it's just the ridiculousness of that doll being like that was, and these people. And I'm like, oh my god, people are not actually like this. They would not have snapped thinking this like oh my god. Or I understand that obviously the kid's living in the walls, so they made that up. But
that was the way for them to cover for it, though.
That I understand that.
Yeah.
But for her to actually believe
She
that
doesn't,
these
though.
people
That's
were
the
so
thing.
destroyed over the loss of their son that she sticks with the job because she just needs the money is so stupid.
I think
understand that it's a cover because they can't actually say, by the way, you're taking care of a psychopath.
Yeah. Well, one thing I do think is that, like, if you watch films very carefully, women especially go to very great lengths to not upset people. Like, she doesn't want to be impolite and say, like, I think you're freaking crazy because you're clearly thinking this porcelain doll is your boy, and that's not true. But it would put them in an awkward position often, and I think in life, women do weird things because they don't want to be impolite, because that's just how we're told to be.
You would actually just be like, oh, yeah, I'm going to watch the Chucky doll.
I'm aggressively direct, but I'm just like, I would believe that would happen. Seriously, if you're fronted with this really nice couple and they're going through this horrible loss, and you're going to get paid a ton of money to watch, like, a doll?
But when you find out the kid died, like, 10 or 20 years ago, I mean, I would just be like...
That probably wouldn't change how I felt. Like, if I needed to escape back home, and I got a really, really sweet deal, and all I had to do was pretend that I thought this doll was a kid for a little while, I might do that.
I couldn't... It was just, like, the one thing in the movie, which I know going into it because I saw the trailer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even she's like... Oh, I'm sorry. Did I laugh at you?
Oh, yeah. No, I thought the boy was good, though. But, like, The Forest was awful this year.
Oh.
The Forest was awful. And that was at The Other Side of the Door.
That was so stupid.
Did you see The Other Side of the Door that just came out last weekend? Or 2
no,
weekends
what's
ago?
that?
Oh, it's a wide-release horror film that's got the woman...
It's in theaters, right?
And it's in theaters.
Where?
I saw it in the Common. At the AMC.
Well, I live in the Worcester County area.
I don't know what's playing here.
We don't get them fancy films you get in the Commons.
The Common at the AMC are fancy films there. It's awful. It's like this woman's...
Oh, it's a terrible movie?
Oh, it's awful.
Don't go see this? Okay.
Yeah. No, don't see it. But yeah, this woman's...
What's it called?
The Other Side of the Door.
Oh, yeah, here it is.
Yeah. But yeah, this woman's son dies, and then she finds out through her housekeeper, because they live in India, that there is a place where she can go talk to him through a door, but she can't open the door, and of course then she opens the door.
Stars Jeremy Sisto.
Yeah.
Oh, I did hear about this.
Yeah.
The poster looked kind of creepy, like the kid's eye is the keyhole.
Yeah, it was not.
But it's a complete waste of time.
Complete waste of time. Yeah. There's like some decently
I feel like I have to go watch it though because I do this show.
Yeah.
Oh, Sarah Wayne Collins is in this?
Yeah.
She plays the mom?
Yep.
She die?
No.
She dies in everything.
No, she doesn't die in this.
Is she worse than this or The Walking Dead?
I don't think I have to choose.
Because she was like the mom you were waiting to get killed off in The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Carl, go to your room. Die already. Your death is coming up in issue 48. Like, I never saw a fan outcry for a character to get killed off as fast as people were asking for Sarah to get killed off on The Walking Dead.
I didn't watch Walking Dead.
You've never seen it?
I watched the first season, and
so you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about because I know who the actress is, and I just saw a movie and brought up a movie that she was in. But Walking Dead, I don't think is created for horror fans. I tried to watch it. I don't find it's interesting. No. Everyone I know who tells me that I need to watch it, possibly Present Company excluded, is not a horror fan.
I will admit that this season I have been like, I'll wait till there's a few more episodes and then I'll just kind of watch them in a row.
Yeah.
Not been like, oh my god, I gotta go home and watch The Walking Dead. I'm like,
and everyone I know who does that, they're not horror fans. Like everyone I know who does that, they won't watch a horror movie with me. They get scared. They're just not into it, but they love The Walking Dead.
the first season of The Strain, I did that. It was like, oh my god, The Strain was on last night. I had to watch The Strain because it's so good, and it was. And the second season, you're like, this is not as good as the first season.
Like Guillermo wanted it to be movies. Like he in his head had Ron Perlman as the exterminator.
Oh yeah.
And it didn't get picked up. So for me, I'm like, it's not even the format it should be, and not even. Besides the fact that I can't keep up with TV, I'm like, eh. Yeah.
And then what's the other show that I do that for? Which I didn't do last night because I was watching Daredevil. And this is a show that I've actually has not let me down. Been consecutively like, oh, I gotta go home and watch this. I gotta go home and watch this because I missed it last night. Grimm has been like every single time it's on, I gotta go home and watch it. It has not let me down. Even when the plot line's gotten to like, I'm not even gonna bother explaining it, but it's been like a very soap opera drama between last season and this season. A little bit, there's like one plot thread which has become like a bigger thing. Like his worst enemy changed into the wife and changed into the body of his fiance. He slept with her, and then he lost his powers, and then his fiance had to change into her body in order to get his powers back, and then the enemy comes back and says, guess what? You knocked me up when we slept together. Now I'm pregnant with your baby, and I'm no longer evil either. I'm a completely different person. And then his fiance dies, comes back as like the same type of creature that his old archenemy was, and now he's falling in love with his old archenemy because she's a completely different person, even though she tried to kill him multiple times over the course of the show, and possibly involved in the death of his own mother. And it's just like, what? This is so stupid. But everything else besides that, the characters are fantastic.
Okay, that can be fun.
Silas Ware Mitchell, who's been like on multiple shows or whatever, is this like blue blood kind of werewolf kind of character who's a vegetarian. He's great in it. And like they went to like the 100th episode was this big like quest for like the Holy Grail kind of thing or whatever, and they find this thing and they open it up and it's a stick, and they're like this whole plot line over the entire course of the show involving these keys, involving the Black Forest in Germany, discovering what the hell's in the Black Forest. The last 5 seasons, these keys keep appearing, and a new keeps being found. They push it on a little thing. It's like, it's a map. It looks like the Black Forest, but what the hell does it mean? Because it's all incomplete. And they finally figure out that one of the churches or whatever doesn't quite look like the other churches. It's actually an X marks the spot. And it's kind of hidden in plain sight. So they go out to Germany, they dig it up, they bring it back, and there's a wand. They're like, it's stick. But then one of the characters got bitten in the previous episode, and he's got like blood poisoning, and he's gonna die, and Nick touches him with the wand by accident, and then as they're running him upstairs, his color comes back to his skin, his arm heals up, and he's looking at the stick, and it's supposedly it's a magic wand.
Okay.
Which is kind of interesting because they very rarely kind of deal with magic on the show, and if this is something that the Knights of the Crusades, who were like the original Grimm brothers, buried, like the 13 Grimm brothers back in the day, buried or whatever, is because it's a wand that you could do anything with. It had the power over anything. That's probably there's an amazing amount of power in this thing. Okay. Yeah, it looks like just a stick that you find on the ground, but it's a wand that you can do anything with. That's probably the most powerful weapon on the planet. I'm like, that's actually very clever, because you fooled us thinking it's a stick, and then next thing you know, he's healed, and you're like, it's a magic wand with the power over anything. It's like the Green Lantern's ring.
Oh, okay. I'm like, I can't keep up with TV. There's
but you know what I mean? If you like binge watch shows,
I do.
If that's what you do, then I recommend binge watching Grimm.
Like Jessica Jones, I binge watched.
Did you like Jessica?
I did. I loved her character, and I love flawed, strong women.
I think that show could have been 4 episodes shorter. It would have been 1,000 times better. I loved it, but just too long.
I liked it. I didn't think it was too long. I like procedural when it like is met with an I want, like Dexter kind of is the perfect example. Like I liked when each episode has its own plot, but then there's an overarching plot for the whole series.
Well, that overarching plot was like in every single episode. It wasn't like something we're going to come back to once in a while.
No, I wish there was more procedural in each episode, because I wanted her to
she might have been a private investigator.
Yeah, I wish they'd had a little bit more of that. But other than that, like David Tennant was amazing, and like the whole issues with like rape survival and things like that. Like I think it was handled so well.
Other than like Daredevil's characters, who I all loved, I didn't like a lot of Jessica's characters. I mean, I liked Luke, but he's going to get his own TV show soon.
Yeah.
So I mean, Luke Cage aside, everyone else on that show, I was like, oh my God, I hope the Purple Man kills this person because this person is driving me crazy. Carrie Ann Moss's Devil Wears Prada lesbian devil with the heart of gold character was not fantastic.
Yeah. I liked the character herself. Like, I don't want to hang out with her, but I think in terms of like a well-constructed, powerful character, she was kind of essentially like genderless. Like when it comes down to it, it doesn't matter that she was a woman. She was still the most powerful character there.
That's probably why, because that's probably why they gender swapped her. Because in the comic book, she's a man.
Yeah.
She is. She's also in charge of Heroes for Hire, which is Luke Cage's and Iron Fist, whose show is being developed right now. Kind of like, we got superpowers, but you got to pay us to go help you use them. Organizations like, how the hell is we going to pay the bills? We got to make money somehow. We're not great at jobs, so. But Danny doesn't make a lot of sense because he's a billionaire. He's basically Bruce Wayne, Batman, but he does martial arts.
Right.
But Batman does, but he doesn't put on a bat costume. He puts on a ninja costume. She runs his company, basically.
Okay.
So in the comic books, he runs his company. So I don't know if that will become a thing.
Who knows?
I mean, I have no idea. Patsy Walker was okay. I mean, everyone's hoping she'll become Hellcat. She's a cat kind of superhero in the comics. What's funny is that when they pointed out how she was like raised by her mother, who basically just like took her fame and did whatever she wanted with it, and she's in all those comic books. Patsy Walker was a girl comic book romance character back in the 40s and 50s when they were writing comic books just for girls. Girls going to read romances, so we'll write girl comics. She was a character in those books. And then Marvel brought her over to become Hellcat as a character, and of course she mentions her past once in a while. Oh yeah, I was a child star, and my parents were rich, so they put me in comic books and stuff like that. The Nukem character, which was the guy, he was the cop that has all the serious problems. The program that he's on.
Okay.
Yeah, that's Nuke. He is a Daredevil villain that had a bunch of... They were trying to create the next Captain America, failed miserably, and ended up turning a bunch of soldiers into psychopaths. And that's one of them. So that character is going to become a bigger thing later on. David Tennant was all right. Really wish he was purple. But...
I'm like... His skin was purple, or
in the comic books he's always purple, but David Tennant's like, I'm not going to wear purple paint.
He wore purple clothes most of the time.
Not the same thing.
Okay.
Every fan was like, what the hell? He doesn't look like the Purple Man.
But they don't look like normal
He's
people.
supposed to be the Purple Man. Yeah. His power is the fact that he's got the purple pheromones and makes people do what they want. But I really wish they had done private investigating stuff.
Yeah, I wish they had a little bit more of that. But other than that, I liked it.
The brother and sister I hated too.
Oh, which were they?
Her nosy next door neighbors.
Oh yeah, they were awful.
That just made my skin crawl, especially when you found out they were sleeping together. You're like, oh God,
know, right?
Anytime. I know they're actors, but and the heroin addict best friend. It was like so put upon. I'm like, oh,
poor guy.
Just no. Can't deal with him. But Jessica was fine. Mm-hmm. Again, too long.
So you're saying you want more procedural, but it's still too long as is?
No. Yes. I mean, I don't know. I wish it had been like 4 episodes shorter, and there had been more like she investigates stuff. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like the problem with like season 1 Daredevil is like I don't remember them ever going to court. Season 2, they go to court for the trial of the Punisher. But it's so limited. They almost never act like lawyers. They act like private investigators. They act more like private investigators than Jessica ever did on her own show.
Okay.
How did you get the job at Rue Morgue?
I asked for it.
That was it? Jeez, I've done that before and that didn't happen.
Well, by the time that I started talking to them about writing for them, I had a lot of film criticism under my belt already, and I have a master's degree in film theory. And essentially the way I kicked off my relationship with them, I was going to attend a festival they wanted coverage for. So I threw my hat into the ring for festival coverage, which for them is a great way to test out which writers are really going to be able to keep up with deadlines, turn things out quickly, as well as really short word counts, which is so much more difficult than a long word count. And that's where I first started working with them.
You just submitted something and then...
No, I reached out to them ahead of time and I said, I'm attending this festival. I'd love to be able to write for you for this festival.
Oh, like that, they weren't going to have anybody there.
They actually had other people there, but because their coverage is so wide, they wanted more than one person there. So I, reached out to them, and I had already covered the festival for other outlets in the past. And I was like, here's examples of my writing already. So, here's what my festival coverage can look like. Do you want me to cover it for you? And they were like, yeah, let's try it out.
Oh, that's actually very interesting.
Yeah.
It's very hard to do when you do a radio show. You don't have a lot of written samples and stuff.
That's the thing, yeah. Yeah, because I've had to get a really good portfolio built up before I started reaching out to other people. Off and on writing for them. I'm just a contributor. I'm not staff there. I do actually a lot of book reviews for them fairly regularly. So publishers will send me upcoming horror book reviews, and I'll write for them and review it.
What's a great horror novel coming out?
I'm trying to think. The one that I'm writing about, I haven't finished quite yet, so it's not very good. One book I read for fun recently was a Jeff Vandermeer's Annihilation, which is going to be adapted by Alex Garland, who directed Ex Machina. That's his next project.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That was really good.
It's an old book, but when I interviewed him when Ex Machina came out, and I was like, what are you working on next? And he's like, this book, and it was like literally at the top of my to-read pile, and I was like, no way.
That woman from Ex Machina, she just won the Academy Award, didn't she?
She did, yeah. Yeah, she won the Academy Award for Danish Girl.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And she was great. I have issues with Ex Machina, but I thought she was good in it.
She was also great in The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. Which is funny. The Man from U.N.C.L.E. stars 2013, two of 2013's worst movie of the year nominees, Man of Steel and the Lone Ranger.
Oh, Lone
Armie
Ranger.
Hammer and Henry Cavill are both in that movie, and they were both the Lone Ranger and Superman. Shaking my head the entire time.
It was good though. It was fun.
It was good, but it's not turning the Man from U.N.C.L.E. into the franchise. I think it's going to. Apparently, it did better overseas. I don't know what that's going to do.
Yeah,
it's like Arnold Schwarzenegger just announced today that they're officially going ahead with Terminator 6, and it's like,
oh my god,
why?
And the last one was so awful. Like, it made money. It made money. That's why.
The only good thing about the last one is anything that you're in trying to be like this. Your geriatric Terminator performance was so funny, but that's not supposed to be funny. I was in that movie where people were laughing.
Well, it was the same joke over and over again. That was my issue with it. It's like the first time he did like the forced smile. It's like, okay, that's kind of funny. And then he did it 3 more times. I'm like, this is not a joke anymore. Like, you need to not have the same joke 4 times. But the audience was eating it up. People bought tickets.
And his distrust of Kyle Reese, even though he needs Kyle Reese to have sex with Sarah to create John Connor.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, be a better, one time, like you just said, is fine.
Yeah.
But you keep telling Sarah she needs to sleep with this guy. First of all, the fact that you have to keep mentioning that to her.
It was unnecessary.
That could have been so early in the movie that's mentioned. That should have been a later on in the movie kind of thing. After they meet John, they find out he's a Terminator, which was unfortunately given away in the trailers and stuff like that. But that was still a cool little twist if nobody knew about it. Mm-hmm. If after Pops had mentioned the whole thing about how she needs to sleep with Kyle to create John, that would have been funny.
Yeah,
I think that would have been oh, you have to bring because he has no understanding of tact and stuff. Mm-hmm. The fact that she finds out that her son is the killing machine now, and then she mentions that he has to sleep with him, that would have been the most hilarious thing. But they did it so early, and they did it more than once.
Yeah.
And it's
no.
Lost it.
Everything was repeated in that.
I do like the fact they went out of their way to find that Arnold lookalike.
Oh yeah.
From Australia.
Yeah.
They literally had to find somebody who's freaking just biceps were, just the way Captain America comes out of the tube in the first Captain America movie. Uh-huh. You know what I mean? They needed somebody to be just insanely huge because that's what Arnold Schwarzenegger looked like. So, and then of course the whole recreation of the original movie, that was not bad, but
it was fine.
Matt Smith. No.
Matt Smith, no.
No. You were as annoying and bad in that as you were in Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
Oh, yeah. He was just hamming it up. And I thought that he was charming enough to carry that film, and he really wasn't.
I think Pride and Prejudice and Zombies would have been 1,000 times better if it had been rated R.
I think if it had been rated R, if it had a director who didn't keep showing us from the perspective of the zombies and give away one character through that.
I thought that was supposed to be directed by Tim Burton once upon a time. What happened to that?
Who knows? I have no idea.
You're the expert working with Rue Morgue. Tell me.
I know. I don't remember about that. I didn't follow that. No, because at one point I think it ended up being produced by Natalie Portman because that got snatched up right when and the book was written, before Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter came out. Yeah. It was 2000. I don't even remember.
2007.
But once the book was written, it got snatched up right away.
And took forever.
And it got stuck in development hell, and how many actresses were supposed to play Elizabeth throughout it. And then it came out, and it was well, first of all, no one's asking for it anymore. It's been so long. And it's just, it was okay.
You should have released it like the year after.
Exactly.
Before zombies became like The Walking Dead needed to be.
Exactly.
Like everyone needs to be like The Walking Dead.
Yeah, it's not the right time for it. And it was really poorly done.
I mean, I like their whole marketing thing as a guy where you have like the women, like, you know, they're putting on their corsets and clothes and they're shooting up their knives and they're being badasses and they're kicking out. I'm like, this is kind of cool. But then you watch it and you're like, I mean, that scene's here and there. And what's the name of the main character? I've never read Pride and Prejudice.
Elizabeth?
Yeah, Elizabeth is like... She's like the heroine, and we kind of knew that from the beginning, which I've never read that novel, and I only read half of Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, and I'm like, so I don't understand the whole, like, I'm thinking in my head, like, okay, I saw Keira Knightley's Pride and Prejudice, so I'm trying to remember, like, how things, like, work out, but if you watch Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter and read the book reads like textbook on Abraham Lincoln's life. Literally everything is accurately true with the exception of the parts with vampires. Abraham Lincoln's mom was not killed by a vampire. They mentioned like Abraham Lincoln had like 3 sons and whatever. They all kind of died. But then you have like in the movie he only got the one kid, and Mary Louise Winstead.
Mary Louise Winstead.
Thank you. Yeah. From 10 Cloverfield Lane plays his wife. Sally Field was a much better Mrs.
Mary
Lincoln. Yeah. Don't try and make Mrs. Lincoln like this sexy, gun-toting. No. Yeah. She's not Washington's wife.
Oh, yeah, Betsy Ross.
Yeah, she's not Betsy Ross, okay? Yeah. Betsy Ross took up a gun and fought in the Revolution.
Yeah.
Mrs. Lincoln did not.
No, there were other people fighting. Huh? Yeah, but there were other people fighting. But Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, like, I just don't know who the audience was supposed to be. It wasn't romance enough for the Austinites. It wasn't horror enough for horror fans. Like, it just kind of failed on every level.
It's like, what were you thinking?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like, again, like, and I don't like when really crappy horror films come out because I feel like it's fuel for the fire for people who are like, I don't like horror films, they're awful. I'm like, no, there's actually really great ones, but we have to weed through all the crap the same as you, so.
I did just see something called Stomping Ground. It's about...
Bigfoot.
Yeah, and it's got Teresa Tilly in it from the original Evil Dead.
Yeah, what did you think of it?
It was all right. It was definitely more like this kind of like, they had this like romance plot line to it.
There was like the old boyfriend. Like I thought it was like in terms of like indie horror. Like I thought it was decent. I liked that it was trying to do something. I think you basically had a Bigfoot movie without seeing Bigfoot at all, essentially. But I mean, for like a budget that was probably like $5,000 or something stupid like that, they did a really good job with that.
What I can't believe is Amityville, the house or the possession or whatever the hell it's supposed to be called, got pushed back to January of 2017 after its original January 2015 release. Am I right? I am right, right? Yep. Yes, okay. Just make sure I'm not going crazy. And then it got pushed to April 1st, April Fool's Day. And supposedly this was not even supposed to be an Amityville movie. Yeah. Like, they literally they changed, it was supposed to be this possession movie, but then they started adding all the scenes and all the extra dialogue about this is the Amityville house.
It's like Saw 2. They just were like, we have this really good like Jigsaw film, and they're like, oh well, we'll add Jigsaw into it.
Kind of worked for The Bunker, which became 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Yeah.
So one example of it being very well done. Then you have examples of Hellraiser Inferno, Hellraiser Deadworld, Hellraiser Deading, Hellraiser Judgment coming out soon, where they're all not Hellraiser scripts.
Yeah.
And then I get into fights with not fights, but like verbal things on Facebook with like, Heather Langenkamp's going to be in it. I'm like, yes, she's not going to save this being a terrible Hellraiser movie.
No.
Okay, by the way, go on to Bloody whatever's website, bloodydisgusting.com. They have every single character broken down for you in this movie. Heather Langenkamp plays an old woman sitting on the porch smoking and yelling at people. She's not going to fight Jigsaw or Pinhead. She's not going to do any of that. She's not going to be the hero of the movie as much as you want her to be. Okay? This is not Nancy all over again, people.
No.
Just... Yay! I'm glad you're fans, but Jesus Christ.
Well, in terms of like...
You're like pushing this movie up as being the second coming of Christ in horror films, and it's not.
No. And in terms of like active actresses from that era that are still doing really good work, like Barbara Crampton is still in a lot of films, and she does amazing work, and I see her name attached to stuff.
What has she been in since You're Next? Because she's pretty much retired, only came back to that because the director...
We Are Still Here.
Huh?
We Are Still Here.
What was that?
It was a really great haunting film that was from last year. It's on DVD now. You can get it pretty easily. Ted Gohegan, I'm always going to mispronounce his last name. He actually is a new filmmaker, but he's a PR guy. So like everyone in the world of horror knows him just because he does tons of PR.
It was like your next. She had been pretty much like retired up to that point.
Yeah, but she's coming back now.
Because I remember in Entertainment, there was an article in Entertainment Weekly
about her coming back for
Yeah, because she was like, oh, I was skiing and I'm living on. I don't need to work.
No, she's back. So We Are Still Here is really great. It's a haunting film where stuff actually happens. Like it starts to set up like it's like a throwback like haunting film. Like this couple's moving out into the middle of nowhere to get over the death of their son. Not a lot is happening, and then stuff starts happening, and like people actually like encounter these ghosts, and when they touch your skin, it burns.
What's it called?
We Are Still Here.
I don't have a pen anywhere to write this down.
It's great. It's great. But yeah, she's in that, and it's like Larry Fessenden's in it, and I forget Tim Burton's ex-wife's name. She's in it. Like the cast is amazing.
No, he's still married to Helen Bonham Carter.
I think they just got divorced, but the one before that.
They did?
They did. The woman who she was in Mars Attacks. She was in all of his films before that.
Helen Bonham Carter?
No.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah. I'm like, Lisa Marie? That's
Lisa
it.
Marie Presley?
No, Lisa Marie.
Lisa Marie.
Yeah, Lisa Marie. She's in it.
Yes.
And she
was in Ed Wood.
Yes, her. She's gorgeous, and she's in this, and she's like.
Oh yeah, she's in Sleepy Hollow.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
she's the
in
mom of Ichabod Crane.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so she's in this, and she's like this like hippie best friend who's like, we're gonna contact the spirits, and Larry Fessenden's like, don't listen to her.
Which nobody believed me that in Sleepy Hollow the old hag they go to visit in the woods, that's Ichabod's mom. You clearly know that's Ichabod's mom because Ichabod's mom was supposedly killed being sent to the Iron Maiden by Christopher Lee.
Yeah.
So when she comes out or whatever, she falls on the floor dead or whatever, the blood everywhere, and she's got the holes all on her or whatever. Yeah. The hag in the woods or whatever is got pockmarks everywhere and on her hands. Where the Iron Maiden would have been pressed up, she's got holes all on her hands when she's like this or whatever. You see the holes all on her hands.
Oh, I haven't noticed that.
Yeah,
I'll have to rewatch it. Okay.
That's never like she never just doesn't go, my son. No, but it's supposed to be implied that if you were paying attention, that's actually Ichabod's mom.
Oh, okay.
Back from the dead in a like really fucked up kind of way.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's got like decaying and disgusting and just the holes in her hands. I was like, oh.
Okay, that makes sense.
Is there anything else you want to plug before we let you go?
Let me see. Visit Film Thrills, the new website. It looks great. Boston Underground Film Festival starts on Wednesday, is that 24th, 23rd? I got my dates all mixed up.
23rd.
Yeah, and then it runs through Sunday night, which ends with Trash Fire. It starts out with, I think, this like Polish vampire movie. I don't know. It's called The Lure. It looks interesting, but I haven't seen it yet. Yeah, we also show for the Underground Film Festival, they show Saturday morning cartoons on Saturday morning.
Yeah.
And it's like really old stuff. It's like Captain Caveman, and they keep all the commercials. So it's just like stuff like you go and there's a cereal like buffet downstairs.
One of the rip-offs of Scooby-Doo.
Yes. They had like Inspector Chimp last year. Like it's really fun stuff. I know, right? And this is all at the Brattle Theater in Cambridge. Thank
you so much for coming on the show. Where can people find you to read up on everything that you are loving and hating?
Sure, yeah. So you can follow me on Twitter. It's Dede Crim. That's DEDECRIM. And then you can check out Film Thrills is where my stuff goes up. I do reviews weekly of wide release films on Cinematic Essential. Pick up a Rue Morgue. I'm probably in there.
Cool. Awesome. Well, again, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.